Another important aspect of Therese's doctrine is her views on prayer. Unlike Saint Therese of Avila and Saint John of the Cross, Therese never wrote a treatise on prayer. She just explains her own experience of prayer. And she says, "For me, prayer is the aspiration of the heart. It is a symbol glanced directed to heaven. It's a cry of gratitude and love in the midst of trial as well as joy. Finally, it is something great, supernatural, which expands my soul and unites me to Jesus." This is the definition now quoted in the Catechism of the Catholic Church in the place of prayer. Not the traditional one, say, friendly conversation with the one who I know loves me and so on. Maybe it is replaced by Teresa. You may find the exact text in number 2559, that is 2559 of the Catechism of the Catholic Church. That means she has reached by now a contemplative stage of prayer. So she speaks to the Lord in the midst of joy or sorrow and raises my heart to Jesus. That's prayer for her. And her views on vocal prayer. One who has reached the contemplative stage may find it hard to say the vocal prayers because they relish remaining in the loving awareness of Jesus and just to speak to him as it comes to your mind. So they don't force formulae of prayer. It is their own aspiration, friendly conversation. Conversation with the one whom they know loves them. And about vocal prayers, she says, "I love to say the divine office every day because that canonical office. But I did not force myself to search out many vocal prayers in the books. There are so many of them, it really gives me a headache. And each prayer is more beautiful than the others. I cannot recite them all. I say very simply to God what I wish to say, and He always understands me." And friends, especially those who are in the contemplative life, people who are practicing prayer, the members of the prayer group and so on, sometimes instead of reciting the formulae and the vocal prayers, just relax. Just speak to Him as it comes to your mind. And that's a higher form of prayer than feeling the satisfaction that I have prayed that novena, this prayer, etc., etc. We may have a satisfaction in that way of having said those prayers, but it will be more meritorious to remain quietly and speak to Jesus. As she said, I just simply speak to Him, whatever I feel, and He always understands me. That's her vocal prayer. So we must understand she is not discouraging vocal prayers. Especially those in the beginning stage, they need vocal prayers. And it's an encouragement for them to grow in prayer. They have not reached the stage of remaining in the loving awareness of God and practice it. It's supposed to say higher form of prayer, as she has already reached. That's why she says, not to force myself by saying so many vocal prayers. Relish in the presence of God. While speaking about the prayer, she comes with some practical difficulties because dryness and drowsiness were my lot. She experienced distractions and sleep even after Holy Communion. And you also must know that by then tuberculosis already started, physically weak, and her problem with the father's illness. So all those things have affected her prayer life. For a prayer of quiet, we need physically one must be good, in good condition, without any psychological depression, and without any serious infidelity in one's life, etc. She had no such problem. It is mainly because of her physical weakness and psychologically painful experiences. So naturally, she felt distractions, sometimes drowsiness because of TBV, sleepy. But then she comes with another consoling way. I remember that little children are as pleasing to their parents when they are asleep as well as when they are wide awake. If a child is awake or sleepy, the parents love them because they know the child loves them and they love the child. So even after slept during meditation, Therese comes with, though I slept, my Lord loves me. He knows that it's not deliberately I am doing it. I am as pleasing to Him when I am awake. And finally, there is one more point. Aridity. Aridity means no interest for prayer. My soul shared in the sufferings of my heart. Spiritual aridity, dryness, was my daily bread, and deprived of all consolation, I was still the happiest of creatures. Again, the most absolute aridity and almost total lament were my lot. Jesus was sleeping as usual in my little boat. Sometimes, no answer from him. And in one place, especially after the visit to the Pope and waiting for her, the permission of the bishop to enter, she was, finding it difficult to drive. And she said, Jesus is sleeping in his boat. I don't disturb him. Let him answer when he wakes up. That way of, even in the midst of aridity, she abandoned herself to the decision of Jesus. So aridity, dryness in prayer can be found even in our own lives. There are moments in which we don't find any interest for prayer. But deep down, there is a heart which speaks directly to the Lord. And that's prayer. In other words, Therese, beyond prayer was her own experience, which she shares when she has reached the highest form of contemplation. She was relishing the friendly relation with the Lord, though with less number of vocal prayers. And sometimes, in spite of the goodwill, because of her ill health and her psychological problems regarding Papa and family matters, she also experienced a sort of distraction and drowsiness. But even then, she trusted in Jesus.